producer. Play the NTR podcast.
From the top of some.
Yeah.
Are we on?
It's on. Are we on? Man.
That's your genuine explore page as well, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what it throws out to me. She's 91, just being sick.
I can see the devil! Blackpool in the 70s, that's cruel.
And now, from Liverpool, around the world on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time to open your mind, expand your outlook, and occasionally soil yourself with delight.
This is the NTR podcast with Dylan Evans and Graeme Smith.
Hello, we're back. We're on. We made it.
How did we do it?
Yeah, how has this happened?
Oh, I don't know.
Hello and welcome to the NTR podcast. I'm Dylan Evans.
And Graeme Smith.
That's Graeme Smith right there. And welcome to episode... I forgot what episode we're on. We're not doing series 2 and then are we? You want to.
I wanted to do series 2 and that, but...
Why? It's not Family Guy. We need to just keep rolling through. What happens? We're going to end up like The Simpsons and we get to like...
Episode 607.
Season 30. And it's like, oh, come on, guys.
I'm having a look at what we've been doing.
Is it
on...
8?
No, it's more than that. We did
more than 8?
More than that, yeah.
This is episode 8, I think.
Episode 8. No, episode 8 was done, landed on 28th. That was the last one we did, 28th of July.
See, so it's episode 9.
Episode 9.
Lucky number 9. Hello and welcome to episode 9. Sorry we've been away.
This series is going to be different, but...
will be.
Is it?
It'll be... I was going to say it'll improve. Kind of. Technically it'll improve.
Last time we were... When did we launch last time? It was...
Just like we just locked down. We'd been locked down.
We'd been in the cupboard, haven't we?
We'd been cupboarded, and now here we are again, recupboarded.
Are we in with the government? This is what I was thinking, because we appeared for the last lockdown to rally the troops, get the people through the lockdown, and then now everyone's been lobbed back in the cupboard for winter. I feel like we're back again. Did you have a tip off the government that it was going to happen? And you were like, oh, we'll launch then?
No, but it was just inevitable, wasn't it, really? We haven't planned it around lockdown, by the way. What are you saying?
The whole show is illness-based.
Just whilst everyone feels like shit, then we'll drop it.
No, but lockdown is back on, isn't it? Except for viewers in Cornwall. Basically, lockdown is on for anyone who lives in a place where there's people. Tier 1 is places where no one, in the UK, is where no one lives.
Right.
Tier 2 is like Stoke. No, it is.
Okay.
Did you not hear the news the other day? They said Tier 2 places that have gone into it: Slough,
good,
Stoke,
lovely,
and Coventry.
Ah, the Holy Trinity.
Fucking hell.
The romantic cities.
That's it.
You've tipped them off.
You're going to take Yaz there for a little city break.
We're going to Hull.
That's the way things are going,
Staycation.
That's the way things are going.
Mm.
Yeah, so what about those pesky students? I think they're to blame, aren't they?
It's for everything. The students are to blame for everything. Yep. We hate them. These are the same students that have just been bullied because of their A-levels, got the maddest results we've ever seen. Oh, it's all on,
by computer.
All on the algorithm. But the algorithm's terrible. All on the algorithm, it'll be fine. And then we knew we were going to go into lockdown again, but they were told, weren't they, no, go. You need to go to uni. Because they needed that.
But they needed the $9,000 a year.
They needed the $9,000 a year. They needed all the accommodation money and stuff. So these people have went. My little brother's one of them. He's up in Edinburgh. And he's just on Zoom calls. So he paid $9,000 a year stupid accommodation to be locked up in like a prison. They were having guards on the doors and stuff.
That's terrible, that. Like, you paid £9,000 a year. Like an open prison. At least you can come and go of a day. If you're a student and you're banged up and you're paying $9,000.
Is an open prison a thing?
Did you not know that?
No, this is news to me. What's
open prison?
That seems like a paradox of just a statement.
There's one that I know where there is one because I knew someone who got sent to it.
Isn't everything an open prison then? Like, what's the definition of
a job? Is an open
job is an open prison?
Oh, an open prison is where it's just a bit easier, isn't it?
What in prison?
Yeah. You don't get fed porridge all the time. No, you're allowed to have a little job, I think. And you come and go.
Prison? Well, I hate to sound like one of them. I'll take a holiday home. How's that prison? We need the toughest prisons we've ever seen. That makes people learn the lesson.
There's one near Blackpool in a place called Kirkham.
Of course there is.
And you only get sent there for like, if you're not a risk to society. It's all like white collar crime. You know, people
littering. Tax avoiding.
Send them down. No, stuff like tax avoidance, yeah.
So these criminals, you're telling me, are being treated nicer than students paying 9 grand a year.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to make a point about criminals being treated really well, because I don't. But you could argue that, couldn't you?
You could, and then on top of all of that, the students have been bombarded with. They're now to blame.
Oh well, they are
for
though,
COVID.
I've got an example here. Our students are to blame.
Oh, go on.
A number of students were found having a party in Nottinghamshire. In Nottingham,
My blood's boiling already.
well, they're having a party.
Yeah.
Someone rang the police.
Yeah.
And they all hid. There was loads of them, and they hid in a house. 30 people hid in a house. The coppers were like, "The neighbours are being on. Is there anyone in there?" And they're like, "No."
And 30 of them.
30 of them. So 4 of them were the ringleaders, and they all got fined £10,000 each. So that's a 40 grand fine handed out for one party. And they were like, apparently when the police came, the people who were handed out the fines said, "We should be having the time of our lives," as they were thrown in the van. No, but they just said that to them. The police reported that, and I was like, I don't know who to feel.
I've got a whole mixture of emotions. Yeah, I don't know what to feel.
It's not fair, that though, is it? 40 grand. They're already paying 9 grand.
That's what I mean. Like, why fine them? Students are skint most of the time anyway, aren't they? I've been a student. That's all it is.
That's theoretical money, isn't it? 40 grand. I'd be like, well, I'll stick that on the bill.
The 9 grand a year is theoretical, isn't it? How you pay it back. It's stupid.
The student loan.
Yeah, you just end up in a bunch of debt for like most of your life after being in a prison and blamed for a pandemic.
That's it, yeah.
When it's the government's fault. I can't believe this is even an argument. I've had arguments with people and they've been like, "Oh, well, you know, it's not all Boris's fault." It's like, well, it is. It pretty much is. I keep watching like German football and stuff.
And they're doing
just to remind myself that, oh no, the world isn't like fucked. It's just this country. Like Germany, they're having like 20,000 seats like filled for stadiums.
I saw that, yeah.
Unbelievable.
It made me feel really sad.
We're like a year off that.
I can't believe that. I think the penny just started to drop with people, hasn't it? That they're like, oh, remember like May. Oh, this will be over soon. I'll be in Faliraki by August.
It wasn't exciting. I don't want to say it was exciting at first. But like the concept of a lockdown, I was like, what, like a film? So this is like a zombie film.
Lockdown.
Dead exciting. There was a little bit of like, oh, different. But now it feels like we're in a genuine zombie film. Like the beginning stages of a zombie film, I'd say.
Well, that's really boring and lasts about 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, dull.
That's the thing about when these things happen is everything becomes normal, doesn't it, and mundane. Mm-hmm. You get used to everything. So initially it's like, oh, everyone's wearing masks.
Yeah, that was weird at first. Now I get annoyed for seeing people not wearing masks.
Yeah, me too.
My brain has made a full weird switch. Yeah.
I stopped wearing... Oh no, I'm going to step in something. I stopped wearing a mask at one point.
Oh, he's an anti-masker.
No, I'm not.
Hates vaccines. Hates everything.
Doesn't believe in 5G.
Space is flat.
I subscribe to QAnon.
Yes, you do. Go on, why are you an anti-masker?
I'm not an anti-masker. I was going in places and I was the one getting like looks like.
Oh, for wearing one?
Yeah, like, oh, he's fucking tits.
Oh, he's in a hazmat suit, picking stuff up with pliers.
Well, I went to Asda in Bootle on Easter. Was it Mother's Day? When they hadn't locked the country down, we hadn't been lobbed in the cupboard yet, and I wanted to take my mum a card, and I thought, oh shit, I haven't got a card, so I went into Asda in Bootle.
Bootle Asda, boss,
busiest ever. Not the one near Bootle Strand, the one in Aintree. So it's even busier.
Oh, that's the big one, isn't
it? Like an airport. I went in there and I was wearing a mask because I knew I follow the science. I wore a mask. I only went to the bit at the front where you buy cigs and all stuff like that. And
just getting you 40 a day.
You know me, sterling silver. So I was there and I wore that like painters and decorators mask.
Yeah,
I was wearing.
And it'll do. Pair of socks would do. Not really socks. Depends how small your face is.
I'd have got looked at more normally if I'd have wore socks. I was on the queue waiting and everyone was like, what's he doing? As if I was doing it for attention. And I thought, I'm not doing it for attention. Will you wear? Just don't. You know me.
That and the hot pants was in, nothing else.
Yeah. And normally that's fine in Aintree.
You had the wrong guy still on.
The NTR podcast with Dylan Evans and Graeme Smith.
What about that Pope?
What's the Pope chatting this week? Hasn't the Pope chatted something that we never thought would be chatted? Well, yeah. I seen the headline as, well, is the Pope Catholic? Apparently not, which is relating to this.
The Pope has said that gay marriage is okay.
Welcome to 1990, Catholic Church. We're
1990.
Here. Is it about then? No, it's not even
go
then.
on. What are you chatting here? Where are you going with
just
this?
When it was deemed as okay.
When it was okay.
but like publicly thought it's okay.
When do you think being gay was
I hate
taken
these.
off?
I hate these questions.
When do you think being gay was taken off? The World Health Organization's list of mental illnesses, it was described as a mental illness by the World Health Organization. Until what year?
79.
No, later than 1979.
I don't know.
1993.
No way. No way.
1993.
So in 1992 it was considered
A mental illness by the World Health Organization.
We were speaking about the combination of emotions in terms of being gay, because like speaking to you, there's so much that I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't really thought of it like that. Like if you're scrolling through Instagram or any other website, whatever you're scrolling through, seeing, you know, attractive men with like ripped bodies, they look great. You'll be attracted to them, yeah.
Yeah.
But then are you jealous of them as well?
Yeah, but have you ever heard me say, I hate him, he's fit?
Yeah, you say that and I'm like,
I hate
that's
him.
a weird sort of... But you would hate them because you envy them, because you envy their image, but yeah, really attracted to that image.
Fuck that, innit?
Like me even processing that, I was just like, no, I'm out at this, I don't get this.
Yeah, it was just, yeah.
A constant mind fuck.
A constant mind fuck. Yeah, no, it is, yeah. Like, I'm going to show you, I've done this before. People talk about the algorithm on their social media, don't they, and what it spits out at them.
Yeah. Yours is very...
Mad.
I was going to say niche, but no.
It's not niche, it's just, look at this.
Let's
This
have a
is
look.
even more fuck than normal. My mind is up the wall.
Is this your explore page?
Jacked gay guys usually forms their thing.
Just scroll up a bit. So so there's 9 tiles, there's 12 tiles, and every one of them is
a man with no shirt
a man
on, flexing.
I've never seen
That's
never
mad,
seen
isn't it?
anyone's explore page quite like that, you know. That's intense.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the most intense I've ever seen.
Should we show? I mean, we can't really show faces, but I do click on them sometimes because it's like, imagine there's loads of like fucking loads of titties, big titties
on yours. I'd be stunned.
So here we are. There's the. I'll turn the thing up. Yeah, you look at that. There you go. Right,
Man,
no, look, men. And,
that's your genuine explore page as well, isn't it?
yeah, this is what it throws out to me, and what it must be is it knows, doesn't it, that like I'm.
Well, the algorithm and stuff.
See all of
The
that.
algorithm is literally based off not only what you're looking at, but how long you will look at specific things. So if you're on an image for ages, you're zooming in at particular images. I'm sure you don't do that.
I don't zoom. I don't think.
I've just
I don't
watched
know.
you zoom in about 6 times. I always catch you zooming in as well. You love a good zoom. I just see you pinch, and I'm like, I think I know what he's zooming in on.
Did you see me do that? Yeah. I remember at work sometimes when I drift off. You know when you're those times when you're just drifting off into a space.
Yeah.
I drift off into a sort of
Instagram
male
fest.
muscle
fest.
Yeah.
Weird.
Sounds good. When's that on?
Another thing though about religions only just getting onto homosexuality being okay is like every single animal in the animal kingdom delves into homosexuality, but only one is homophobic. It's us, isn't it? If you think, well, we think anyway. I don't know if there's dogs being homophobic. We just can't tell.
There probably
but is
are
it like,
some homophobic dogs.
like every animal is like fine with it. Do you ever wonder that? If you like think back, like what? Like why? Because they're already sort of admitting they're wrong now. Well, yeah, that's what they've done. Oh yeah, we were sorry wrong about that.
Yeah, true.
That's what they're doing.
I don't think through all of history people haven't been homophobic. I don't think.
No,
It's like I just get the impression it's like it was a sort of something that happened for a while. It still happens. Like if you look at the Greeks, they were banging to like
so much
really weird ways as well.
Well, there's loads of things about like the ancient history that we've sort of tried to scrub out if it doesn't suit our agenda.
Yeah,
Psychedelics is another one.
yeah true. It is.
Psychedelics is like so much throughout history. It's like, oh yeah, that's how they took this and then they spoke to the gods, and then now we're just like, yeah, that it doesn't suit that. Get rid of it. Yeah, like, rip out that bit of history as well. And that's another thing. Like so many people won't know that. I think the psychedelics and the fact they were all at it.
No, they were all up to all kinds. People have
Like
always
what?
been up, people have always been up to
Give
all
me some
kinds.
examples
Oh, should we,
of Greek all kinds.
should we Google?
Is it hummus based? I hope so.
Tzatziki based. It's not Greek if it's not. But that Pope though, that Pope of ours. What about that Pope, eh? Actually, I've said that twice now. What about that Pope?
You love him?
Well, like his predecessor, what was his name? His predecessor was called Pope John Paul. No, it wasn't. That was ages ago. He was dead.
Yeah,
he was 2 popes ago.
he was 2 popes ago.
Two
There
popes
was
passed. Cardinal Ratzinger became Pope Benedict, because when you become Pope, you change your name, don't you?
That.
So
Was he nice?
Nah, he was more conservative.
Not nice Pope. Bad Pope or good Pope?
Just couldn't handle the chat. Not great.
Bad Pope.
Couldn't handle the challenges, could he?
Was John Paul good Pope?
He was quite.
Wasn't he
liked
nice?
him. They liked him, but he wasn't like this one. It was like, oh, my brother's and.
Is he sound? Is this fella
This one
sound?
is genuinely sound. Have you ever seen how they pick a pope?
No, I've seen the smoke. They do the smoke. Someone's blatantly there.
That's what I always thought.
Pick him. Who's asked? So like in like the ancient sort of Roman Catholic, blah blah blah. So when they walk through the church, they'd wave leaves around and they go and like up and down the aisle in church.
You mean the incense, the smoke?
The incense, right?
Yeah.
So they found these like incense, whatever the materials are that they found of it, and there's loads of traces of THC on there, which means they were burning.
I always thought that if you've ever
They were burning
been to a
marijuana.
Cosmas-
They were burning marijuana and then doing all this. Oh God! And then people were having these
Course.
religious visions and stuff.
You know when they do that, like
It's
you
so
know if you go
mad.
to church and they do the bit where you get the, I don't know, you've done a lot of church. I did when I was a kid.
The
They give you the body of Christ. and
little cracker thing.
what they
Horrible.
reckon, Catholics reckon, is that at that moment that literally becomes Jesus's body. Literally,
Yeah.
literally. That would explain that if everyone was basically just tripping their tits off.
Edibles. Get us that wine.
And wine sounds like the perfect balance to that experience, doesn't it? A little bit of food,
Steady, you know.
bit of wine, and then we'll read from the gospel.
Yes.
And that sounds like a lovely evening.
Alexa, play the NTR podcast.
Now, to the vacuum of space. The vacuum of space.
The space news recently has been astronomical, hasn't it, if you will? We had all that about the moon, and then back like the other week was Venus. It was the life on Venus. Well, kind of life on Venus.
You were
sort
buzzing
of.
about this, though.
Yeah,
You were really made up about this.
Some of the biggest news ever in the history of humanity, but whatever. Everyone sort of brushed over it, going, "Oh, what? They found a fart," because we found gas that had been not necessarily farted out, but gas that had to come from organic matter, which means something farted it. But what farted it, and how did it get there?
That's true. Yeah, that was exciting, finding farts on Venus.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. And then just the more I thought about space and astronauts, I just got really angry thinking about astronauts. 'Cause I think astronauts should get as much stick as like footballers. Footballers get all kinds of stick, don't they? You know they do. For nothing most of the time. Like there's people who are paid higher, there's people who are worse than them, but they get
to stay.
And I think it's because they have the dream job kind of thing. How many men wish they could be footballers? Astronauts, the same thing, but astronauts are like, oh yeah, we're all heroes. They got like over 100 grand a year, by the way. That's what they're on. Wedge. And they get sent into space.
How
they
much
do a dream thing, a proper dream job. Get paid loads of money, and then, oh yeah, they're all heroes as well. What have they ever done? What have you ever seen an astronaut do, Graeme, apart from wash their hair with toothpaste or whatever they do? What did he do? Tests. Wonder what tests they're doing. Oh, I'm going to go to my bedroom and do another test. And there's all ectoplasm. It floats.
What you're doing there is the quite common mistake of confusing. Ectoplasm comes from ghosts.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's what they're saying.
Right, hang on, let's.
There's a lot to unpack.
They're on 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
Which is good, but that's great money.
Phenomenal money
Great
to
money.
float round.
How much is a footballer on?
100 grand a week.
Oh, okay. So an astronaut.
Don't see a point there, but carry on.
Astronauts.
Yeah.
They're on the same money there. You're 100 grand to be an astronaut.
Yeah, for the year, yeah.
That's like the same money as a GP.
Exactly. You know, GPs are saving lives. I think giving people paracetamol, and you know GPs do.
Giving people paracetamol.
Why are astronauts heroes? Because they go to space. They asked to go to space. Well done for doing what you asked to do and train to do. What are they training for as well?
To go to Mars.
What, to sit there?
There's
a lot of sitting around and floating around. A few of the mad things that blow me mind about astronauts is when they come back down, the bones, they're brittle.
It's mad, isn't it, that?
The bones are brittle, and there's like a condition. I can't think what the name of this condition's called, but they get it when they come back from the space station after they've been for a while. They try and just put stuff down like that, and ends up smashing loads of glasses and just dropping stuff, because they're expecting it to just stay there.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's completely like warped the brain to the point where they think, oh, everything floats still. And that happens for months, apparently. Isn't that mad?
My nan still does stuff like that sometimes as well, but she's never been to space. Leave that there.
Oh, it's gone. I think they're up to no good up there.
What do you mean up to no good?
No cameras. Is there cameras? Yeah, there probably is. I don't know.
Up to no good.
What happens in space stays in space. That's the astronaut
What happens
code.
in space stays in space.
Forever.
And often it floats round the Earth in orbit for eternity.
Yeah.
Anything in space. Like, imagine if you're on the International Space Station, bear with, and you vomited.
Right.
And but you open the window. You can't open the window to vomit out the space station. It's not like a car. Well, I've got confused here. I think you'd be sick out the window, and then your sick would enter orbit. And if enough people did it, then Earth would develop rings entirely made of sick.
Vomit-based Saturn.
Yeah, and that you never hear about that, but it is a risk.
Well, stuff spinning around the Earth's a proper problem, apparently.
To who?
Us. So there's a theory.
Why us?
There's a theory that one of the great filters of life that stops planets expanding and growing out is that we get too wrapped up in satellites and we can just leave stuff. Oh, leave the and then we can't.
Well, say that again. Say that
from the top. So,
yeah.
Are we on?
It's on. Are we on? Oh no.
So, are we on? So one of the big worries about leaving like satellites and stuff up is it will just keep orbiting, and if you've got too much orbiting, it's too hard to escape Earth and get out. So loads of people think that's why there's no aliens. That's one of the filters. We get too wrapped up by satellites and stuff, so then we're just constantly trapped in a prison of our own garbage.
Or bins.
Yeah, bin bags. Or bin juice.
There's Tesco bags.
I stood in bin juice before with new socks. I had to change my socks. How bad's that?
In bin juice?
I think it was something cat food based as well. It was brown.
I don't.
It was brown.
Where was it?
So I took a bin out, left the bin there for a bit, and then it just to the bottom, and then I picked it up and walked through it.
So what did you say? It smelled like cat food or cat juice?
Cat
bin
food.
Juice. I've got confused.
Bin juice. Yeah, I don't know what cat juice is.
The NTR podcast with Dylan Evans and Graeme Smith.
What's this? What's this? It says here a feature.
Yeah.
We're doing features.
Yeah, why what?
I didn't know we done features. Why are we doing features?
Are you expecting me? It's professional.
Since when? But features, that's very
official. Very official.
It is very official.
Right, so this feature is called...
Dude, can we add some overlaid stuff to this in post? Go on, say it then. Say it in a voice.
And now on the NTR podcast, it's time
for
the moral maze.
I was expecting worse.
But yeah, no, I thought we could.
The moral maze, okay.
Dylan, this is a product where we take the high road and the low road at the same time.
Both roads.
Both legs really wide.
Yeah, is that what this is about?
Nope. This week, Dill, and I say this week, as that means I'm clearly...
This feature's coming back, isn't it? This isn't a one-off feature, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler alert. I didn't know myself.
My mic's just falling over. Is the internet conscious?
No. Next week, we're going to be talking... What does this mean?
What a small-minded thing to come out with.
No, that's quite the statement. Is the internet conscious?
Might be.
Okay. What's consciousness, I suppose? That's go on. What's your point?
Well, the internet is all of the computers in the world. Like they all chat.
They're all dialed in. They're all dialed into one. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Yeah. I can feel this. I know where you're going.
They're all there.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about like all of the computers in the world combined, stop smirking at me. They are. There's intelligence there.
Mm-hmm.
There's intelligence. We couldn't dispute that.
I know the computers are clever. The computer on FIFA, if you play it on like Legendary, wipes the floor with you.
That sort of thing. Yeah,
they are smart.
The AI that runs Facebook.
Yeah, terrifying.
It's playing a game against you and you don't even realise it's doing it. You don't know that that's going on. And you've seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix.
Yeah, we all have, hopefully.
You got me onto that and you were like, you've got to watch this.
If not, watch it. Just to, I think I knew most of it, But there's some of it I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that.
It's when you put it together, you go, oh no.
Like, do you know when people sit there and like, oh my God, my phone's actually listening to me because I was just talking about that, and then it popped up. It's like, no, your phone actually knows you better than you know yourself because you've given it so much data.
20 years worth of
just scrolling. Oh, I've looked at this time at this specific thing. The algorithm, the programming is just so beyond the human brain. It's smarter than us, and then they're just plaguing us with ads because of it.
That thing that you said about it knows your brain better than you know you is so true, because you're in that instance, in what's going on with, say, Facebook, for example, you're playing a game that you don't know you're playing with a super intelligence.
Yeah.
And you haven't been told you're playing a game with a super intelligence, and that super intelligence is supposed to keep you know what I mean? So it's already beating us there.
Well, its sole purpose is to just keep us engaged on phone. So think of that.
But is that its sole purpose, or is that super intelligence, that AI, able to communicate with other super, like this laptop? I don't know, all the things around the world, all the servers. Is it able to communicate with them? You might say, well, it is, because we allowed that, right? But if it was going to get us, like on Terminator, I had to take it there because that's the only.
That's a good. So
if
go
it
on.
was going to do that, it's not going to go, guys. Excuse me. Hi. Sorry, just to interrupt your browsing experience. I am at some point going. It wouldn't say nothing because what in warfare? What's the main? Why do we have submarines? Creepy McGee. In I come.
Oh, so you're saying it could be so intelligent it's already there and we just don't know it
It's
yet?
not saying nothing.
Because we're not smart enough to get onto the fact it's that intelligent. Yeah, so it could be conscious.
Anything intelligence, if it was going to do something naughty, wouldn't say, just to heads up on this, because that's not stealth is the. You know what's the old story about the Trojan horse?
Fill the horse up with men, push it through the gate. It's just a horse. It's full of men. Men kill other men.
Why don't you Google what the Trojan horse is?
Trojan horse.
If you were taking on those keywords that Dilly...
Also a brand of condoms, you know? Think about that.
Fill a horse with men.
Did you see that guy in the Social Dilemma when he went,
The thing is with technology is at some point it'll beat us, and at some point we'll just all become one thing. And they call it the singularity, don't they? At some point in the future when all computers... Yeah, like computers become the processing technology, or is it Moore's Law? They become... Like, it's exponential, the rise in processing technology.
Yeah.
At some point, reality and everything will merge into one big... Everything. This earring will have 5G.
Yeah.
Do you know, the most random things.
Well, it's coming to the point now, isn't it, that predicting by 2050 we could have, like, microchips as small as cells, which when we get to that point, it's like, well, what have we made?
That much processing technology in something as small as a cell. I read something
that's
about...
God behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the technology of gods.
So that's where it's coming. If you look at the graph, and it goes every year, the rate of it's vertical.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it's going. But they reckon that there's a point that we've already passed. That's when technology could beat our strengths in the future. But we've already passed the point where technology could beat our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. We're chimps, essentially.
Yeah.
Our animal brains are not built for this game.
We're chimps that seek approval from
other chimps.
That's what we're... But that's millions of years of evolution as well. It's now being exploited by Facebook. The scariest thing about it is we're too far gone. There's nothing we could do anyway now. What would be... Say we found out that, oh, no, yeah, they are that super intelligence. It is that terrifying. It is that... Well, what could you do? Burn everything.
Yeah.
We're done.
Like those 5G masts.
If you're right and the internet is conscious and that, we're done. The earth is done. I hope you know that, Graeme. You've just... That's what you forecast there. You forecast the end.
It's not, no, but the thing is, like with all of this, there's good bits of this technology and bad bits, isn't
100%.
But I think it's...
The good bits the VR porn and
on the VR, right, okay. So
illegal streaming and there's all that. It's all the good stuff.
VR porn, I've had adverts for that, but I haven't got, I don't really game, do I? So I haven't got all the VR kit like you have. You've got it all.
I've done it all. Not like that.
Done it all, dear.
No, but like I've tried it once. I've told this story. I tried it once with Lewis, sweating in my mum's box room. Weirdest experience ever. And it is that immersive, and that's the worry that things are going to be too immersive. I think we're maybe 10 years off full immersion, game wise.
I thought you were full immersion.
Well, I've played VR games, like driving games, and shouted out a window that's not there because it doesn't exist, and being angry, like, what are you doing?
At the computer?
At nothing. I'm like, oh, that's completely warped my brain. I'd like to think I'm quite savvy with stuff like that. If I give that to me nan,
What would happen?
game over.
What would happen?
On both ends, it became over. On both ends.
You'd come in and she'd been fully absorbed into
She's living
the
there.
Matrix.
You'd probably like it, I think, me nan. Oh, this is lovely. It's nice and warm.
Moving dead slow.
Don't have to go anywhere.
But my nan, I think my nan would be quite happy if she was immersed in virtual reality. I think this because she's quite ill. She's like 90. She's not ill. She's just she can't go out at the moment.
Well, yeah.
And I'm just like, put this headset on. 2 things I think she should do.
Go on.
I think you know what they both are. So the first one is whack a VR headset on that bitch. That's what she wants. Just take her back to the good times. Yeah.
Wait, I was going to say, what would you put on?
Blackpool, 1971. She's there having a ball, a few pints. She's got she's got
do
simple
better.
to egg and chips.
Send her to space.
She doesn't want to go to space.
You want to send her to Blackpool in the 70s? That's cruel. Send her to...
She doesn't want to go to space. She doesn't give a fuck about space. That confuses her. She wants to be in the audience on Loose Women. Or go to Benidorm.
Virtually.
What's that? We can arrange that virtually.
Yeah.
Virtual Benidorm.
Oh my God. With the smell. Comes with smell. I don't know what the smell is.
I don't know, but she'd like it. The other one was, I think, and I've said this like, my dad had cancer at one point the other year.
Right.
And then it went like, it was horrible. And at the time I went to him, you should get on that cannabis, that cannabis. That cannabis. He's like, I know of that cannabis. I was like, you should get on that. It'd be good for you. And he was all right. He was up for it when he was ill. And then when he started to get better, he was like, I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. Smoking that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it might have done you some good. I think that my nan would benefit so much from getting high. And that's because she's bored. She's got all arthritis. And I've said this to her. I said, you need a blunt, love. I didn't say it like that. But I was worried, like, if someone gave my nan cannabis, and there was all the beneficial things, what if she whiteyed her back out? Like, she's 91, she's got a stick, she's on the thing, she's just being sick.
I can see the devil, Graeme. It's what I predict. The thing is, what I get really confused about even having this conversation is it's only because we live in this country at this specific time that it's awkward to have this conversation of not even mentioning the word cannabis. But at other parts in the world right now, that's like a necessity. And that's what I found mind-blowing through COVID.
Where's it a necessity, love?
LA, Amsterdam, all these really like advanced places we think are like treating it like that. And then there's other places in the world where you get the death penalty for it. And I think all, like, let's all meet up. Let's all the country leaders, come on. We've got something wrong here or something right. How can we think that differently about the same thing, the same substance, the same everything? It's like it's a necessity. It's good for cancer patients. It's good for this. You should die for even holding it. What? You two meet up and just talk about your differences. What evidence have you got? What evidence have you got? And that's because it's exhausting.
Well, all of that comes from, when did they make doing that illegal in America? It's like 1930 or something. I feel like the set of priorities that existed, we can't do that, don't exist anymore. We should respond to that, shouldn't we?
100%. Like,
in the pandemic, wasn't it considered to be an essential service in California?
Essential.
You can't go without your kush. Milk, eggs, beef, kush. That's the shopping list in Orange County. Is that the Model Maze done?
Model Maze is, we escorted past the corn and we're out.
Without the maze.
We're out.
And that was £4.95 well spent for entering the maze.
The maze of mystery. What was it called? The model mystery.
Maze.
The model thing.
We'll see how long the name lasts.
Not long. Well, that is if we've got a next week. Do you know what I mean? With all that going on over the pond.
What's? Oh yeah,
is that next week? Is that soon?
It's literally next week.
Is it? Oh, this is it.
What day is it now? It's Tuesday. We're dropping this podcast on Tuesday.
So it is like a week, isn't it? Would you reckon? Are you back in, Graeme? Like, what you get? Like, I can see both of them getting in.
That can't happen.
No,
it's just friends.
No, but I can see both of them winning, and I can see either way. There's going to be riots. I think if Trump gets in again, everyone's going to be like, "Well, how can we another four? How is this happening?" Riot. And I think if Biden gets in, Trump's just going to claim, "Oh, it was a fix, didn't I tell yous?" And then Trump supporters love a riot, don't they?
Yeah, well, everyone loves a rise at the moment.
Yes, we do.
Here we go. Oh, so there's a horrible... So they're saying here, there's lots of different stuff coming through. One day ago, US election odds, Donald Trump's chances dropped to 36.4%. That's what they're saying. But... Do
you pay attention to all them? Because
they move.
I know, but for the last one, it was Hillary was a clean... She'll win, don't worry, lads. She's got it.
So, you know, the betting markets, like you put a bet on.
Yeah.
In 2016, when they last had a presidential election, the odds that you've seen in the papers and that, you know, the polls were saying Hillary Clinton's going to win, but the betting markets, 3/4 of the money was going on Trump.
So
this time round, it's happened a few times. This where the real nose in it has been the guys going, I've got $200, I'm going to put this on something.
And we're all backing Trump again.
Yes, 70% backing Trump. So, I mean, maybe it's just because Trump draws in that sort of person. They go, I've got, I'll put this on a horse. Or
I've never thought in gambling on elections either.
I thought about it, and because I just didn't have enough money to put on Obama because I didn't have enough money at the time. I picked him 6 months in advance. I said, I'm going to put 50 quid on him.
Didn't you cry when Obama got in?
Fucking tears.
How funny is that?
Not funny.
Not funny, but like I think it is quite funny.
I was in bits.
If I was just round and I was like, oh, you're crying over who's president?
I was bladdered. I was bladdered, and it was America's first black president.
No, it did feel like a moment. It did.
I remember me other half at the time came in. I was up at 4 a.m, bladdered. I got through 2 bottles of wine, watching Eating All Sweet,
pretending you know what's going on. Yes.
He come in, and I was like, bottle of wine out and all sweets and that. And he was like, "What's the matter? I've heard all noise from the bedroom." And I was in tears, and he thought someone had died. I was like, a bomb, it's one. And he went, fucking hell.
I'd have done the same.
He went straight back to bed. I was up all night though on that one.
Oh, that's cute. Are you going to be the same if Biden wins?
No, he's not quite as excited. I'll be made up. So would you, really?
I'd be happy, but I don't think either of them should be. They shouldn't be running. Well, when I first seen that debate, I was like, how old are these two? Two fossils.
74 and 78 or
these
something.
These two old fossils just moaning. It's pretty much who's the least shit between them, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's all bad. It's got to be Biden, but that's only because Trump is
evil,
literally vile, just spat everywhere.
No, but he's doing stuff that we've never seen done before.
Would Biden last? So by the end of the first term, Biden would be 81.
Oh God, yeah.
He'd be 85 by the end of it if he gets 2 terms. That's ridiculous.
Think of it this way: there's never been more of a point in being bothered about who's going to be the vice president person. So your options are Mike Pence, who is less mad than Trump, but still a bit of a bastard.
Bit of a bastard.
Yeah, but he's a proper old school like that. But you know what the type of person I mean?
Pence.
Mike Pence.
Very American name.
Holds it together, but he's dead conservative.
Yeah.
Expect loads. Whereas Biden's got Kamala Harris,
boss,
who's a woman. She's a bit younger. She's about 50.
Decent
she was the prosecutor in California.
Quite fit.
Do you think?
As politicians go, she sits on the fit end, I think.
And it's good to see a black woman in that position.
Lovely.
I mean, wow,
boss.
That's
all for that.
So if Biden died, that's his insurance policy. And they used to say, look, if you had a really shit vice president running, that was your insurance policy, so no one shot you. so Trump's like, if you shoot me, look at him. Look at the state of him. Who looks worse, me or him? I'm like, you.
Yeah.
But it's this time next week. I honestly, the stakes couldn't be higher, mate. They couldn't be higher.
I think either way, there's riots.
But what about the bigger picture on this? I think, and they're both trying to make it like, oh, if we get this wrong, the world is ruined. But I think on this occasion, the world is ruined if you get this wrong.
Yeah, I think it is.
How many people died from this virus in America?
It's over 200k, and he's out there dancing, isn't he? Young man, gonna do me a chance.
The last person I ever thought I'd see dancing backwards to the village people. Which one would he be?
This year's not real. I keep saying this. I've said this all year. This is the biggest simulation glitch we've ever seen. Didn't science come out this week actually and say simulation's real and that?
Not quite.
He did. He said it's plausible.
Plausible. They've been saying for years that there's like I don't know if I've said this on here before, a 50-50 chance that everything is a simulation. What were we saying earlier on? About at some point it'll be indistinguishable reality from what's going on in computers. So there's a 50-50 chance that this is like, and this is a simulation, and that's not just from like some mad person. This is from the Bank of America. Runs that as the odds as 50%. And there was a story this week from all these experts from like Cambridge University, Stanford, and all the biggest universities.
The big dogs.
Big dogs. And they were all.
That's what they do.
They do that. And they were all saying, like, there's a chance 50-50. So I read this and I looked at how it was reported in a tabloid newspaper whose name we won't say the name of.
Yeah.
A scummy paper.
Mm.
And they said on their headline, bonkers boffins say, well, there's a simulation. Imagine all their readers going, what a load of bollocks. Anyway, fuck that mask. You know what I mean? Climate change, that's nonsense. They will gladly believe like minority positions on stuff like climate change and anti-masking and all that. But when it comes to something that just doesn't fit with their fucking worldview, they're like, he must be on drugs.
The maddest thing, right, about us living in a simulation is it's like inevitable at one stage in the next maybe 20 years you won't be able to distinguish VR from real life. So who's to stop us just blasting it all in there? What if like global warming got so bad? We're like, oh, we can't live in this anymore. We need. Remember when it was nice? And you put on the VR headset. Oh, and it's all
the
green.
Matrix. It's the Matrix.
It's
terrifying, that, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
I've read a thing this week that said that they reckon that civilizations fight to make it to baseline reality, and we haven't made our baseline reality yet. I was like, what? So what are we? Are we all like on servers floating in space around a planet 3,000 years in the future on this
USBs, little USB sticks, floppy disks,
getting fed all sloppy food through pipes?
I'd be annoyed if I was on a floppy disk or something
really shit
stored on something really bad.
Alexa, play the NTR podcast.
Right, and don't forget to tune in next week, Tuesday. We'll drop a brand new episode. You know we will. Talking about God knows what, to be honest. Nonsense.
The usual.
Yeah. Gabagoo. Anyway. See you later. See you soon. It's time to open your mind, expand your outlook, and occasionally soil yourself with delight.
This is the NTR podcast with Dylan Evans and Graeme Smith.